Review scores are a never-ending debate in the world of gaming. Every website and individual has their own scale, and because of this, it's hard to know which each score means depending upon which site you're at. Of course, most review sites and individuals do lay out their review scale, but there's another problem. As you guys already know, people are people, and people have their own idea of what these numbers mean. So even though one review site may say a 7 out of 10 means good, someone else may view a 7 out of 10 to be something around the average range. I used to do review scores back in the day, and even though some of my newer reviews do have scores, I'm slowly starting to pull them out. That's because no matter how many times I've said what my scores mean, even going as far as making videos breaking it down in full, this doesn't help anyone that's new coming by or anyone that just doesn't want to go watch those videos explaining my review system. For me personally, if I still did numbers, a 5 would be average to me. But of course, to most people, a 5 means the game is bad. Giving a game a 5, of course, would make a lot of people angry. And despite my review actually having full breakdown and understanding of how my thoughts got to where they were, many people would just kind of ignore all that. It seems like the score mattered more than the actual review itself. Review scores have become the new headline. Many people actually read headlines only and they do not read articles. Even though this is taught in school that you shouldn't do this, this is just a problem with human nature. People will go straight to Metacritic for the score and not for the actual review itself. Any reviewer that takes the time to put in effort to make a video or to write something out is hoping that you listen to their full explanation. And ultimately, the score just kind of undermines that whole process. Now you might be saying, well man, look, I'm just trying to get a fast understanding, so the score helps me. But actually I argue it really doesn't. Because again, you would have to know what this person's review scale is. And I really want you to ask yourself, out of all the websites, out of all the online reviewers that you watch, do you really know what their number score system means? Or are you just simply using what you think it means and going off of that alone? Besides, me saying something is a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, or 4 out of 10, you have no idea why I'm saying that. So the number really doesn't matter. Many gamers, for whatever reason, view numbered scores for games differently than anywhere else. I'll give you an example. In school, a 100 out of 100 means that everything is correct. You could say that means you got a perfect score, but that only would really apply in a subject that's completely objective. Like math. It's completely objective. 2 plus 2 will always be 4. It doesn't matter what anything else is on the page. If the answer is correct, and all answers are correct, then you'll get a perfect score. But when you get graded on an essay, that's a bit different. Sure, there are things that are objective like grammar and sentence placement, but the essay itself is a lot of times subjective, depending upon what it's about. Yet, when you get a perfect score on an essay, I don't think most people think that means they wrote a perfect essay. It just means they got a perfect score. I'm bringing this up because for some reason most gamers use the school grading system to judge a game's score. And because they use the school grading system, I watch many reviewers say they can't give a game a 10 out of 10 even though they feel it should get it because no game is perfect. By that logic, nothing that's subjective made by humans is perfect. And yet I'm sure you've been to the movies, to restaurants, and many other places and locations that have a rating system, and people score with a perfect score. And yet you know that it doesn't mean that this place is perfect. But for whatever reason, when it comes to video games, this is what some people think, and I find it kind of strange to say the least. Then you got the people that say that a game can't be too low. It's very weird. Now games can't be too bad. This is probably why IGN just defaults games to a 7 out of 10. It's really just a safe answer so no one will get that mad at them for not giving a score lower than a 7. But that doesn't always work either, as especially due to fanboy wars and just people being very critical, even a 7 could be too low in someone's eyes. Now I will say a rating system without numbers kind of works better. For example, saying something like buy or not to buy is very clear and understandable. And I don't feel it undermines the overall review. But for me personally, I think the best reviews have no scores at all. Most people that ask for others' opinions on a subject, which is a review, don't get a score back anyway. They get a simple or detailed explanation of their experience. This way people actually have to listen to what you said. and not try to circumvent it with a rating. That's why moving forward, I won't use any score systems at all. I have dealt with the backlash for far too long, and it's just annoying. And I'm gonna help you guys out with a little secret. Many websites use review scores just to drive attention. You would be surprised at how many times I've actually read a review from GameSpot or IGN and then saw the score and read the review, and the review was way more tamed than what the score would suggest. And I'm talking about both ways. I've seen scores high on IGN, but when I read what the reviewer says, it doesn't really seem like they really liked the game that much. They still liked it, but not to the degree that the score would suggest. And I've read reviews where the reviewer's ripping the game, but the score is a 7. I've come to the conclusion that websites just use review scores to get you guys riled up, and some websites even leak their review score before the actual review, just to get you mad. So instead of trying to manipulate you all with review scores that could be catchy or flashy or spark annoyances in your heart, I'd rather just drop the review and keep it simple. Besides, I reviewed games that I've given 6 out of 10s, and I've reviewed those games again but removed the number. In some way, somehow, people have been able to hear the review rather than react to the number. So in order to put my reviews out there without necessarily pissing you off, I'll help you by not dropping a number or a rating. And I hope you guys stay around to listen to my reviews.